Well, now I'd like to move to another modeler that a lot of you know, Bill Banter. Bill owns a company called Banta Modelworks, as you're probably familiar with. And he's going to be starting next week a build along of one of his caboose kits, which is an ON30. So Bill, welcome.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate you doing this for us, Bill, because I hear an awful lot of people talk about ON30, and I know there's a lot of interest in it. We haven't had anybody do a build along in ON30. What is so special about ON30? Why are you producing kits in that scale?
That's a good question, but I think kind of started when Bachmann began their ON30 bits of rolling stock, and seemed like a good thing to do to add to what they were doing. We started doing cab kits and then different conversions for their flat cars. And essentially what we're talking about here is this is the caboose, and it simply goes on top of a Bachmann ON30 flat car. So ON30 is interesting because it lends itself to a lot of modifying and changing things, making things your own, and not really following a specific prototype. I think that's attractive to a lot of people.
I've heard that ON30 is almost you're designing your own railroad, but you're keeping as much of the prototype look as you possibly can within what you want your own railroad to look like.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. I think also there's a lot of people that really go beyond even prototype and making some really crazy stuff, but being different from following a prototype is important to them. It's narrow gauge. It's got a kind of a funky look and feel to it. So it's quite attractive to a lot of people.
But the modeling in it, the building of the models and everything, there's no difference in that, is there?
A kit is a kit, right?
Yeah.
So you're just going to sit down and build something. And if you're building from a kit, it's really no different than putting a building together for the layout. It's just more so the enjoyment of building.
Gotcha. Any special tools that anybody needs to get on hand before you start the build along next week?
No, just normal modeling tools with a hobby knife, some glue, emery boards for sanding, and that's about it.
Okay. Any special painting or any preparation from that standpoint?
Not really. I'll go into a little bit about that. Generally, I don't get too deep into painting and staining and that kind of thing, and the kits, and especially in the instructions. But we'll touch on it a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to talk about your company a little bit? What else do you produce besides this ON30 stuff?
Lots of structures. And cab kits, the works. Everything from HO scale up to live steam stuff. Right on.
I've heard that some of the manufacturers have seen some real growth, particularly with this pandemic situation. Has that been your experience?
I think initially when everybody was tied down, couldn't go anywhere, we saw a lot of growth in that area. But now that people are out and about, it's kind of slacked off a bit. So.
Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to this, and I thank you so much for being here this evening. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week when you start the build along.
We'll be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it.